supervising county clerk. He was the highest ranking civilian in the court system in the county where we grew up. So I spent my little kid days going to work with Dad, and I put on the black robe and I'd swing in the leather chair and bang the gavel really loud, like in between court sessions and stuff. And so all my family, a lot of lawyers in the family, and I decided that wasn't what I wanted to do. But what I did pick up is the fact that he would mentor all the young attorneys. He'd tell them never walk down the hall without a briefcase or at least a manila envelope. We're talking old school, but have a manila folder in your hand. Look busy, be productive, look purposeful, because people's opinion starts of you before you ever open your mouth, and how to engage and how to get on the schedule. And he was always mentoring them about how to get ahead and the things they needed to do, the stuff that no one teaches you in school, the street smart approach to being better in your craft. And that's a legacy. And so I'm not in that legal space, but now I have a lot of attorneys that I help figure out how to move forward. So the gift is helping people pay attention and get street smart with what they do. And your legacy is helping veterans find that peace of mind in knowing that they've done a great job serving the country. And now they can come back and be a valuable and valued contributor to society. True?
Very true. Very true.
Cool. Very cool. I'm happy to be here with you.
I'm happy to have you. You have really good intuition as well. Kind of picking up on the nuances of, kind of the in between the words sort of stuff. So that's always fun.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say that when you're thinking about your business and how it's grown over the years, how has legacy affected your business, or at least the legacy mindset? Is that something you've thought about? If I take this turn, it's really not going to be part of what I want, big picture. Have there been many times that's happened for you?
Well, in practical terms, if you think about it, when I started, I was 24. I'm the youngest baby boomer. Back then, not many young people had businesses. It was before digital. So we weren't walking around with cell phone. We didn't have cell phone. There were no such thing. And so I was one of the youngest entrepreneur sets. I was at a big agency, had a car accident, put my head through a windshield and wasn't well enough to work. So God tapped, and I had to reinvent myself even back then. I was much more short-term focused, I think. It was just trying to get through. I had a bad concussion, and I started out because my boss said, hang a shingle and I'll feed you work because we love you, but we know you're not sitting behind a desk. So it was a very unplanned and just practical start. Who knew 30 years was going to fly by? But what I did realize is that with the onset of digital, my concept of legacy has grown and shifted, because now I know the value of a couple of things about having multiple revenue streams. You're in finance. You and I talked about that, whether it's affiliate programs or digital courses or what have you. I value the concept of do once, use many. Mm-hmm. I had a boss named Emery, and he was all about that. If you can come up with something and then pay attention to your process or your system, then you can teach others. And then that can exponentially grow. So you now have the ability to, like, compound interest with your money, right?
Sure.
You can do compound growth with your whole career trajectory. And so I've now thought about legacy, not just in what can I leave behind, but how to help other people compound their success and give themselves time freedom. Because what I did wrong, rearview mirror, right? Here's a good one. Back in the day, I was more of a virtual VP of marketing, and I helped wealthy baby boomer entrepreneurs and executives run their empire. So I do any of the marketing and business development stuff, right? But I traded time for money. I work an hour, you pay me, whatever. And so I got really busy. I figured out the joys of retainer work, and I, instead of having one job, would have 6, and I'd be running all these different empires for people. And they'd prepay me first of the month. It was a great model, but I sold out my time. I was exhausted. I did a lot with promotions and events as well. And so I would work full-time days, and then the events and stuff were on the nights and the weekends. And all of a sudden I realized I was fried because I was working. Again, talked about not delegating. Even as I delegated, I'd sell out their time. And so I had a meltdown at 50. I'm just going to throw this in now. I wasn't expecting it. I was working in pharma. I was making buckets of money, and I got a phone call on a Friday that we lost our funding and it all went away.
Ouch.
And I had put all my eggs in one basket, and I went from hero to zero in one 10-minute call in the ShopRite parking lot, which was in the middle of being 50, which was menopause. And I had a meltdown, a complete meltdown. And I had to reinvent myself again. My best friend dug in the snow, got 50 rocks for my 50th birthday. Look at this. This is the coolest thing ever, I think. She did a box with 50 rocks and put 50 things that are special about me. So they say things like caring, talkative. This one says bitchy. They're from my best friend. One says plays golf. Right? And I started blogging one rock at a time, and I realized that my life didn't totally suck and that I could figure this out. And I started blogging one rock at a time and reinvented myself as the Rock On Success brand. And so legacy took on a new meaning, but I knew in the next go round, which is now, I would be better at time freedom, because time's the only thing you can't get back. You can't compound time. So legacy now is about finding ways to monetize my genius, or helping other people do that, and helping them compound their success so they get more time freedom back.
That's awesome.
How's that for legacy?
Yeah,
you have more
great.
money, health, wealth, and the time to enjoy it.
Yeah, and that really has a lot of parallels to where I come in with my regular day job. Is just helping people to be able to spend more time with their family, to spend less time doing the mundane things, the things that they don't enjoy, or the things that aren't really profitable, and just let them focus on the things that truly matter. Because we're put on the earth, I believe, with a certain, each person has a gift, each person has that unique talent, and we're happiest when we're using those things. And so it's helping people realize that if I'm able to use this gift, then I don't have to worry about that 9-to-5 job, or maybe their choice in the 9-to-5 job should involve the gift. So otherwise they're going to be miserable, like I was for 10 years in a corporate world, doing, sitting in a cubicle, and I hated it, because, I need to be in front of people. I need to be talking to people and not staring at four walls. So it took me a while to discover that, but then I was able to tap into my talents and gifts. And since then, it's, immeasurably better.
But then time flies. You're not a clock watcher anymore, right?
Yep.
You remember those days? Is it lunchtime? Time to leave. Now I forget to eat because I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, invariably my cubicle's like with the clock right above it, so I didn't even have to turn my head. I just look up and I could see this big, huge clock that I think the batteries were dead. The hands never moved.
Right.
Exactly. So as a CEO and entrepreneur of your business, what would maybe a few things? Do you still have things that keep you up at night, or are you pretty much to where that's not an issue anymore?
I don't know if it's ever a non-issue. So I'm part of the sandwich generation, meaning I now have 2 kids. My son's a senior in college. I worry about where will he work, what's his future going to be, because he's at that coming around the corner. It happens quickly. My daughter's in her 3rd year of graduate school going for a doctorate in audiology. She just got her 4th year placement. So I worry less about her because she just got her next year and a half at least figured out. I've got aging mom and an aging mother-in-law and all the responsibilities of those things. So the things that keep me up at night sometimes are more about that work-life integration, and some, I guess right now, personal things are bubbling up, and trying to move forward in my day job while I've got shift happening here. So that's part of it. I invested a big chunk of change this year in hiring the absolute best team I could surround myself with, more than I would have ever imagined. So coach and implementation. And so I am all guns a-blazing, all in, off the deep end, making sure that everything I do, my programs are really up-leveling, because I am committed to being a game changer for enough people. So I upgraded my systems. I work in Thinkific with my courses, for example, my online courses. If you want, I'll put a link in there. I can give everybody a free training on how to build an online course, create your genius and build an online course, and give them a 30-day free trial, for example, just as a gift. You can try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. But that's one of the ways to monetize your genius. Do one, choose many. Figure out the system for what you do and teach it. Start with one small thing, and then you can add. I ended up building 6 courses in about 6 weeks. So easy. I love it. Yeah. But again, so now it's about making sure I take time for me and my business, because I'm on the clock as a client, quote unquote, with a high ticket, expensive, brilliant, amazing team, paying attention and making sure that the shoemaker shoes don't have holes in them either. So like my funnel expert, it was the head of ClickFunnels certification program. She's the best. She created and taught the program on how the best funnel builders in the world can be gauged and valued. So,
cool.
I went to the top, and that's important. So, does it keep me up at night? More with excitement. And also sometimes you know this perhaps, but sometimes it's hard when you're really good at something. It's hard to then be the student.
Yes.
Because I've been in the teacher leader role. I could help you through anything, James, but when I have to turn around and receive the help, it's different. Like, I could help someone figure out their strategy like that. Why am I sitting here scratching my head? And it's because we need the view of others. We need the expertise of others. We need to sometimes let our guard down and be vulnerable and be the student, be the patient, be the client, and get help. Because you can't, the best dentist does not do their own root canal.
That's true.
They don't even do their own teeth cleaning. Right?
That's right.
So that's the stage I'm at right now, is really seriously reinvesting, because with my process and with the growth that's happening, like I launched a program with Novartis, with a pharmaceutical company, and we launched this U.S. global initiative. But my system right now could handle, if they turned around and said to me, I want to put 50,000 people into your system, I can handle it. Woohoo!
That's funny.
How's that for throwing it out to the universe? But I started off smaller, and I started off creating a course, and I started off building it that way, and then made sure now it's got the back end so that it can manage volume. And so that's legacy. Now I can impact tens of thousands of people, can come in on a single day and not crash my system. Yeah, so those are the things keeping it up, is making sure I've checked behind everything and had enough people test it to make sure it's actually going to be successful and be a great user experience for everyone.
That speaks heavily to the value of proper scalability, scaling at the right time, because so many people want to scale up, and they're focused so heavily on how can I get to this next level, but are they really ready for the next level? And so just scaling at the right time and in the right ways, because had you tried to, you were mentioning, be able to handle 50,000 people. If 20 years ago you said, okay, I want to handle 50,000 people, is that going to be the smart time? Whereas now you're ready for it. Back then, would you have been ready for it? And a lot of people in business kind of face that, is they want to get to that point of, okay, I want to have 50 employees, but right now they can't really even handle 10. So they're not really ready for that kind of scaling. So it sounds like you went through obviously the correct paces, because now you're able to handle it, and you don't even bat an eye about it. It's okay, I'm good.
It's not that I don't bat an eye. It's that I am embracing imperfect starts. Mm-hmm. It's that I first want to admit I get frustrated as the client at times as well, but I blatantly communicate with my team. Both, like I said, I'm juggling business and some personal fires and the thing, some of that. Sure. So I just communicate with my team. I'm realistic. I make sure that time management is huge. I actually, when I went through my meltdown, I wrote 2 books, and this is one of them. It's called Rock on Success 90-Day Fast Action Planner. Focus and freedom to live your best life without selling your soul or losing your mind. And the reason I did it because I have ADD, first to admit it. So distraction and focus are always a challenge. And I was feeling so overwhelmed at that point that thinking 5 and 10 years down the road was just way more.